Hey, what's going on everybody? Gleez here, and today we're going to talk about Sheeva smash and grab variation. We're going to talk about some combos, some basic strategies that you can use with the character. First thing we're going to do is check out her normals. So her down 3 is like super short. I'm not a real big fan of it at all. Her down 4 is not amazing either. Her down 1's just okay, 7 frames. What I do like about her though, off of her pokes, if you notice, look how much hit advantage she has, like 14, off her down 3, 15, 13, which isn't as much, but the down 1 is really good as, you know, you're able to down 1 and jail into your stand 1. And also, if you take a look, so your stand 1 is 8 frames, stand 2 is 10 frames, so off of my down 1, I can also jail into my stand 2, which allows for a overhead to come out. Now this is the first string we're going to look at. So if we put our opponent on block always, alright, so the second hit is an overhead. Let's get this fall spot off here. Alright, it's minus 10. So what we're going to do here visually with this string, and this is one of her better strings, we're going to visually look to see if the attack hits. If it's blocked, we're going to end one of two ways. So if it's blocked, we're going to just hit square or 1, all right, and that leaves me at minus 5. Or you can do this with any string. You can end in your meter burn fireball. So what the meter burn fireball does, it depends on the string that you cancel into it. It will reset neutral, causes a lot of pushback. You'll either be plus, depending on the string, like plus 1 or 2, or about even. So we'll take a look at what that looks like here. Alright, so notice the pushback on plus 1, we're in good range here. Now, Sheeva thrives off of her fireball, and in this variation, her stomp that is unblockable. I think those are the two most, I should say those are the two moves that you're going to game plan the most around. If you notice, she has like really stubby buttons. She doesn't reach very far. The forward 1 is going to be your best far-reaching tool. You can cancel into your 4, so 4, 1, 4, or 4, yeah, forward 1, 4, or you can, you know, reset things here and get that pushback for you if you don't want to be up close at minus 5. And against a lot of the cast, that's going to be not a great spot to be in. So this move particularly works well as someone's trying to get in, they're trying to dash in, right, and then you hit them with this and send them right back, right? And whether it's on block or on hit, it sends them very far away. And I think that that's a really good tool that this character has. The air stomp, or the telestomp, if you will, in this variation, you can direct it. So it can go right on their head, it can go in front, it can go behind. It creates a more true style mix-up versus the other variations. Now, there are characters that have forward advancing moves that are so fast, it can just get them completely out of the way of the stomp, and the stomp becomes relatively ineffective in some matchups. If a person is really good at it too, they can down 2 your stomp, and it doesn't matter where you place it, they're going to hit you out of it. And in some variations, or some characters, they have like pokes. Frost, for instance, has a down 3, where she can actually just like low profile the stomp and just punish you every single time you do it, no matter where you place it. So you have to use the stomp and understand what characters can counter it. Sub-Zero slide is a great way. Boom, it just gets them right out of the situation. Any characters with quick forward advancing moves. Jade, who can run. Terminator, who can run. Johnny Cage's kick. Woof, he just flies out of the way. And the stomp will typically miss. So there are certain characters that the stomp is less effective for. It's good in counter zoning, especially for characters that like to meter burn and send out multiple projectiles off their meter burn. A good example of this would be RoboCop. So if I'm in a projectile war and he blocks mine, he sends one, I block his, I send one, and then I go to stomp immediately. And he's stuck in his animation, he can't get away. All right, so that is one of the best ways to use the stomp in counter zoning. It doesn't set up a great situation though. If you notice right here, we're very close up. Unless you're in a matchup where you thrive up close, the stomp is actually not always going to be the best thing. Good for damage, maybe good for some pressure, but you could always reset things, you know, and get it back to here if you wanted to. Or off the stomp, you can back up and, you know, bait a wake up, you know, send them back out. Or you can just whiff punish if you're able to. So as far as, you know, what Sheeva does, I think that she does very good zoning. She has great zoning, good counter zoning. She has really annoying tools. You can actually, for characters that have low shots, like Robocop, Cassie, all these characters, Sindel, that shoot projectiles low, when they shoot a projectile, you can actually time it to where you jump over the projectile and stomp them. So like the projectile comes, you see that it's coming, you just do this and you're able to hit them. And again, you can meter burn this. If you're close up, we'll say, so like this distance, right? I think that they're going to jump in at me, so I can meter burn and hold up, and then you can rip them up out of the air. Not the greatest thing. I honestly wouldn't even take the risk of doing a stomp from this range unless I'm playing someone that's, you know, really kind of out there. Like this person's just a maniac, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just gonna, you know, throw this around maybe to get him annoyed or pissed off. But against good players, it's probably not advantageous to do that this close, unless you have some type of setup where the character is knocked on the ground and you're making it very difficult for them to get up and wake up with different attacks and things, causing them to force them to delay wake up. And the reason why that's so important off of certain things, they have to commit to the delay wake up. So like they have to hold L2. So if you have certain setups that you're using, it forces them to delay wake up, and that takes away their wake up options. So if I have a knockdown and I've been, you know, going in on this knockdown, going with the stomp, I'm going to force them to delay wake up to avoid it, but they have to commit to that early. So once they, you know, start doing that, I can end my combo or end my attack, and instead of going into the stomp, I can dash up, and now I know that they're delay wake up, so there's not a wake up that's going to come out. They're not going to be able to roll. They're not going to be able to wake up 3. They're not going to be able to wake up 2. They can do maniac stuff like wake up buttons, obviously, but it negates a lot of their options if you can condition them to delay wake up. And I think that's really important to understand when you're playing Sheeva. So Sheeva also has the air grab, which is down back 1. It has priority over a lot of moves, and it's only 10 frames of startup. It's pretty good if you connect one regular one and then you do one right after and meter burn it just like that or amplify it. You actually get a launching Krushing Blow, which is pretty good. I don't know how practical it is. I don't know. I mean, some players you'll play against, they'll just jump like maniacs. You may be able to get it. Against good players, I don't think it's going to necessarily be very effective. Up for Stomp, if you are able to land 3 successful, this will also Krushing Blow for extra damage. So keep that in mind also. And those are basically, you know, her moves as far as specials go. We talked about this one string. We're also going to talk about some other strings. And a lot of her strings you have to kind of dial in early. So her back 2, so it would be back 2, 1, 1. Alright, so notice how that works. If I hit back 2 twice because it's 2 hits, you know, maybe I'm thinking like, oh, like I'm hitting it twice. She's hitting them twice. Well, actually, back 2 is actually a 2-hit move. So if you hit it twice, the string isn't going to come out. So it has to be back 2, 1, 1. You can confirm all of these things. You can confirm it into the grab, which is not technically a grab. It's actually a mid. It's blockable. But you can confirm into that. And this is typically what you're going to confirm into, or you're going to confirm into the air grab if you're using the 2-1. So 2-1 confirms into air grab, meter burn, and then you get launch combo off of that. So this right here, again, it's dial. Now I can do it early if I wanted to, which I would negate the hit, which you don't really want. Oh, it hit. All right, so I'm able to do this. I can meter burn it, and now once I scrape them and they're bleeding, if they move, dash, jump, any of those things, they're going to lose extra health. You can see that the character's bleeding over there. That's when this stomp comes into play. So once I meter burn that, and I can then force them to move. I can force them to jump. I can force them to do certain things in order to bleed some extra health off of them from that distance, which is a really good idea. Be aware that some characters will be able to shoot a projectile that's a little bit higher and hit you out of the stomp after you land that move. So know who you're playing against. But again, just to get them moving, getting that extra damage. In a lot of matchups, it's a really good move. Alright, so we're going to talk about the back one. And it has a little bit of forward movement here. Not the greatest, obviously, but it is a mid, so it does work pretty well for stuffing certain buttons from range, certain pokes. It's not going to be low profiled by most characters. I haven't tested it against everything, but it is a mid, so that's good. Now, the string that works off of this is a string that needs to be dialed in. So you have to go into back 1, 2, 2 immediately. So in order to get the string to come out, it has to be back 1, 2, 2. Alright, so at that point, I can visually look with my eye. I can see whether or not they are blocking or I have hit them. If you are in a situation where you do hit them, you can confirm that into this, which would be back forward 4, so the mid attack that grips them up. Now, if I see that it's on block, I can go with the launch, which does launch in the corner, but there is a flawless block gap on it. So again, to cover the flawless block gap, if you're playing against someone and you're afraid that they're going to flawless block up to you for damage and for a combo, you can go into this. Alright, so if you see that it's blocked, and you don't want to risk throwing out the last hit of that, you can go into the Fireball and Amplify. The Fireball Amplify is the way that Sheeva stays safe. Alright, it covers her gaps, it covers a lot of things that put her in bad situations, and it's something that you really need to implement. Sheeva's forward 4-4 is a good mid. It's got 10 frames of startup. And it doesn't have a lot of range, but it does create for a pretty good strike throw game because of the mid. Also off of pokes. She does have, again, those jailing highs as well off of her down 1. So her strike throw game is actually rather good up close. Where she kind of doesn't really do so hot is in like this range, because she only has her forward 1 to really contest. So you'll see a lot of times your opponent will probably wind up getting in this range and trying to bait your buttons and like whiffing and things like that with this and then punish you. And that's the matchup that you're going to have to get used to. You're going to have to get used to people trying to bait out your buttons. You got to use your Fireball. And she does have a very good dash block. As you notice, she got a little giddy up to her. She's running down like crazy. You can run your opponent down pretty well with her. This also, you can end in 3. It is, I believe, -5 on block, which we'll take a look at. -6 on block. Now, if you don't want to be in a situation where you are -6, again, on block, push them back out. Alright, if you don't want to be close up. Again, that's your tool to just get them away on block, stay safe, live another day. Sheeva's sweep is also good. It's got pretty good range too. Look at that range on that sweep. So in conjunction with her sweep, she has a safe back 3, which is an overhead. So you can get some good mix-up game going. You know, all this stuff is safe. Keeps the opponent close. Your back throw also will keep them close. And this is a really good way for Sheeva to get some pressure and some things going with mix-ups. And, you know, it's a pretty good tool. Not a lot of damage, but the mix-up potential is pretty awesome. Pretty good. Forward 4 launches. I don't really use it all that often. It's a high. People can just poke you out of it. Most people are just going to mash. It's unsafe on block. I don't know. I haven't really found a good way to implement this against, you know, good players. They don't really allow for that to occur. If you can find a way to implement it, you know, go for it. Maybe mid-combo, but the links are pretty tight when you do use it. I've been using combos that don't utilize forward 4 very often in the combos, and it only negates, you know, maybe 1 or 2%, but it allows for the combos to be much easier, and we're going to get into the combos right now. So that's basically it. A little overview of Sheeva, going over some of her buttons, some of the strategies, to utilize the character effectively and win some matches. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below. I will be happy to go over anything with you. Also, if you're new, be sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell so you get updated whenever I post new content. As always, I want to thank you guys for checking in. It's Gleez signing out, and continue to game strong.